This is the squeeze play, and this video is in honor of Rod Crew. Uh, Played for the Minnesota Twins in 1970s. I think he stole home base 7 times. Um, they didn't have instant replay back then, but if they did, they would have showed that he had one more steal than they gave him credit for. They called him out at home base when the instant replay that they showed nowadays, that they showed that he actually stole it another time, which meant he would have beaten or tied the record for a number of base times anybody's stolen home base. I think Ty Cobb holds the record still. But here's to you, Rod Crew. Good job. Okay, so this was a really hard opening for me to try to figure out what was going on, and what happened is I didn't recognize the squeeze. Okay, so basically to recognize the squeeze is you have the downtrend going down like this, and you have an uptrend going up like this, or maybe like that. So this downtrend line coming down, and then an uptrend going up. And so that's one way to recognize it. That's something you see a lot, I guess, but here's the critical thing. You see the length of this candle from here to here, and that's called an ATR, average true range. And notice that the difference between that valley and that peak is probably two of these candles, like one candle, two candles from here to there. So the range, I guess you'd say, is from here to here is two candles, but it's getting narrower and narrower. And so when it gets to be that the range equals about one candle, you can see it's getting this distance from the downtrend to the uptrend line is getting shorter and getting closer and closer together until the range of the candles is equal to about one candle. So the way I say it is the ATR, which is actual true range, average true range, is equal to the peak minus the valley. I don't know how else to say it, but I hope you know what I mean. It's like the price is getting confined to this narrow range. So that's how you recognize the squeeze. I'm not positive. I think time will tell, but the more experience I get, the more I check it out. But I call this a failed rise. So what I mean by that is, look at a rise. So you have a red candle and a green candle, really big bars. This is opening day, so it's like exaggerated. But then you have greens going up. So this marks this is a configuration which marks a valley, and then you have the rise going, which is usually like green, green, green. So you got like several greens in a row, and some of these have volumes. In this case, beginning of the day, they all have volume. Which is, anyways. So this is legitimate. This one right here is a legitimate rise. But over here, right here, this is legitimate rise. So you have the valley, and it goes green, green, green. So you have 3 greens in a row, legitimate rise. Over here, you can see green, green. You can't really tell. Green, 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 green. So these are legitimate rises. And then legitimate falls. So here's a peak. It went red, sort of a no-brainer. Green. It doesn't have any volume. And then red, red. So after the peak, you got 2 of the 3 are red. So that's a legitimate fall. But in this case, you have 2 volumes. The candles are kind of 2 candles each with volumes because of the black triangles. And then you have like larger than these. The candles are kind of larger than the predecessors. You know, these guys are small. Then you get 2. So this is a legitimate valley. So if this really is a valley, then you'd expect then you to have a rise. But if you look at this, it's like red, red, red. You don't see any greens. And the reason why this is important is like it's because people are like saying, I don't know if it's going to go rising or not. And they're like, really what's going to happen is they realize it's going to be the end of a downtrend. The downtrend is coming over. So what people probably are doing is if they've scalped, like they bought up here with these high volume scalper, this is a blue triangle, black triangle, black triangle. It's like they're trying to. They said we probably should think about not. It might be changing, so there's indecisiveness. Maybe getting rid of some of their stuff. Um, so the failed rise. If you have getting let's squeezing together and you get a failed rise, and this one we should look at more. That's how you recognize the squeeze. Now, when the squeeze comes together, it's like the end of a downtrend, so you know it's going to go up a little bit. And normally, what happens is you have a little foothill. So have a foothill. Now, sometimes I'm thinking, sometimes it might go up and continue to go up. So, what you should anticipate when you get the squeeze is that it's going to get a foothill, and so you can get in. But the thing is, if it just keeps on going up and up and up, at least you're in. You can hopefully stay in there, right? So here's you can see the squeeze coming because you have a failed rise, and then you have the downtrend line meets the uptrend line. So you're going to anticipate a breakout. A breakout means that you usually have a big green candle in this situation when you have a downtrend, and then it breaks above. See this downtrend line? The price breaks above it. If you wait for this breakout to happen, and like, oh, it broke out right there, then you try to get in, it's too late. Oh, your foothill, and it starts down. So this foothill happens more often than not. You'll get a foothill, and what this foothill will do. Usually after the foothill, you get these blue triangles, high volume stuff, and these high volume stuff is really on red candles is where these people that had bought in up here are really getting out over here. That makes sense? Okay, so but you can get a scalp. What a scalp means is just you get in for a short time for a little bit of a small price gains. In this case, scalps are usually maybe like 5% or something like that. So the way you recognize a scalp, the peak of it, say foothill, the green and a red. This little up arrow, it's red, and then this is I think they call these a tail. Anyways, that's when you have a tail on top as opposed to a tail on the bottom. This is like called a bull reject on top, or a bear reject. Anyways, you recognize green, green, green rise followed by red. That's your peak, and then the next candle starts here and starts going down. So when you see this red and then see this one happen, and it's like time to get out. So you could also, anyway, so you get in here. That's your scalp. So you scalp the foothill. If you didn't get out here, you can maybe get out over here too. Nonetheless, the next step is after a downtrend, right? It could go. People get out these blue volumes here. When you see the double blue volumes, things are going to happen, right? In this case, they're both red. People are getting rid of their exiting the shorts. And then what you're looking for is green volume stuff. And you see a blue there. Blue there. Anyways. The key, though, I think, is after the foothill is how low does this valley go? How low does it go? Right? So, you can see that this is a valley. And it's really a strong valley. You have two volumes, red and green. And so this valley here is higher than that valley there, which is higher than that valley there. And all three of these are strong, really strong. The only thing you could ask for more here is these candles are kind of small. So it's not total proof that this is a real valley. I mean, it could have gone down lower from this point on. You don't know. The next step is to place this. After you determine where the foothill valley is. This valley determines, the valley after a foothill determines where the long-term price trend will go, which I can't show it all, but it just kept on going up and up and up. Even after this one here went up and up for a long-term day trend. If this valley had been down here lower, what that meant was from here to there was lower. That means it probably would have gone down, 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 keeping going down. So locating this valley is so very important. So the idea is to place. So this blue line is place a buy stop. In this case, because this, I believe this is a valley, so I want to place a buy stop. If I believe since this valley is higher than that, I think the price is going to go up, so I want to place a buy stop. And I would have two places to place the buy stop. Either where this blue line, I put this blue line right here, it's slightly above there, or I could have put it the level above this one right here, because this is high volume, that's high volume. One of the things is if you place, the higher up you place it, the bigger chance you have of if you're wrong, you're going to lose more, and you're going to lose more money. So the idea is you try to find it, you try to do your best diligence and figure out which way the trend is going to go, and then place the buy stop as close to the valley as you can, and that's to eliminate their loss. So you can put a stop loss in, like, see the bottom of this thing is close to that thing. You could put a stop loss like right in here. See this is the trend line. So you need to try to keep your stop losses at like 0.5%. And yeah, okay, so this is the squeeze play.